Hello, hello, everybody. Welcome to Better Together. When you know better, you get better. It is Thursday, October 29th, 2020, and our quote of the day: no one is in control of your happiness but you. Therefore, you have the power to change anything about yourself or your life that you want to change. That's from Barbara DeAngelis. Welcome back to the show, everybody. Hello to our Heal Squad. Today we're going to be chatting with a friend and cosmetic surgeon to the stars, Dr. JasonDiamond. We are so excited to have him back on the show to talk us through all the latest trends in skin, cosmetic surgeries, all kinds of things, especially in the wake of COVID and how it's all changed and what everybody's doing or not doing. I find myself sometimes on Instagram, like pictures will pop up and it's like before and afters. And you're like, how did that happen? So we're going to be chatting with him today about all these procedures. And if we get him to stay, we have a very exclusive Patreon episode that we're trying to do with him, where you'll really get to see the celeb before and afters and figure out what could have been done, in his opinion, to access that result. So my questions, my burning questions as a curious journalist and as a curious woman, as a curious human, will be answered.
Yes.
So another reason for you guys to join us over on Patreon, if you haven't already, click the link tree in my Instagram account or on Better Together with Maria and join us. That's where we have extra content, ad-free content, and our workshops. Last night, Kelsey was doing a pre-interview with Patty Penn.
That I was.
Reiki healer that was featured in the documentary on Netflix called Heal. And she told us not to come home.
Literally.
She just do not come back to Los Angeles. So for everybody, a little inside baseball, this is pre-taped because we are flying. Or at this point, we are already landed in LA as of last night, technically. And so we pre-taped this episode with Dr. Diamond, so you'd have your Thursday show, and that we could fly back. I kind of miss my family. It's been like 3 months.
Almost 4. It's kind of wild.
Is it almost 4?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Right?
So we are going home finally, and I'm going to get to see my family in a hazmat suit from a distance.
That's
a distance.
With our pink wigs.
Yeah. And so also, fun fact for everybody, because we're home for such a limited time, because then I have to hit the road and do some other work, we are going to be rerunning some episodes next week so that we have time to deal with the elections and you guys have time to deal with the elections. It's going to be a busy week, a busy, crazy week for everybody. So I really want to spend as much time as I humanly can with my mom from a massive distance, but still. And in my hazmat suit, my multiple masks.
Yeah, exactly.
I am getting COVID tested upon landing. But but for that reason, we decided to pick some really great episodes that we think you will really enjoy in our archives. And you guys really seem to enjoy them when we have done them in the past. So this is a show to keep up with. There's a lot of really intense content in here. So we're going to do that with you guys.
Really excited. And the reason we're curating these episodes so specifically is because next week is going to be a tough week, I think, no matter what side you're on, whoever you are. So we've actually very specifically curated these episodes so you can survive next week. So I know it's easy to think like reruns, whatever. No, you have to be subscribed to the podcast. We're airing like Dr. Dan Siegel, for example, whose whole philosophy is how we can rewire our brain for more empathy. If there's not a more relevant topic during next week, I think that's going to be incredible. So just so you all know, that's going to be airing exclusively on our podcast, those reruns. So if you're just a YouTuber or you're just an Instagram, now is the time to go to Apple Podcasts and subscribe so you can get what we're calling like our survival guide rerun week to get through elections.
Yes, I love that. Also, if you haven't followed us at Better Together with Maria on Instagram, we have a lot of inspiring content there.
That we do.
And it's our hub for all of us to get together. And so next week, as you're going through whatever you're going through, ups, downs, all arounds, we'll be there with you. Some upcoming Patreons that I just kind of was jotting down with Kelsey. So Kelsey updated our website, mariamenounos.com, last night with my faves. Now, it's just the beginning, guys, right?
The beginning.
So literally you can go on there and everything that's there has been put there for a reason, because it's literally what I'm ordering on Amazon or buying at Sephora or buying in general. And so it is not sponsored. It is 100% what I use.
Yep.
When you see the go-go juice, we haven't gotten to the point of explaining why for each thing. The go-go juice is not for me. The go-go juice is for my dad. So really great for diabetics to have in the car because they're not perishable. So if they're having a low blood sugar moment, really good little juice item for them. So little things like that we'll explain when you're kind of like, well, that's a little random.
That we will put in the newsletter, Maria. I think that's going to be a great idea for us to be like, oh, shop Maria's faves. Why is there a weird ladder on here? Well, safety. So that's going to be in the newsletter, which is why you guys want to be subscribed to that newsletter.
I have like my little mace bracelet.
That's right.
So I bought mace bracelets for all my girls like that worked for us at AfterBuzz, so that if they were ever leaving late, we had a buddy system anyway, but I also had mace bracelets for everybody so that you could just go
that's right,
and spray those assholes.
So it's not a Fitbit, it's a mace bracelet.
It looks like a Fitbit though. So everything is on there. It's really exciting. So we're going to do a whole episode on explaining the faves. There was a really startling photo of a young, I think she was 30-year-old, who got TSS shock. And I think that that's a discussion that we don't have enough. And so we're going to do an episode on that. And we're going to bring in, hopefully, Dr. Hakaka, my gyno, to explain the realities of TSS shock. So we're going to do that. And then blue light glasses.
Yes.
Kelsey and I officially are both blue light glass wearers, so we're going to be chatting about that in an upcoming episode. So join us on Patreon. We also have the healing event with Patty Penn, who is a Reiki healer. That is going to be amazing. So join us there. In the meantime, guys, I know we normally chit chat, but we have Dr. Diamond for a very limited time, and we want to get right to him. So he is one of the world's top cosmetic surgeons, known for his work on Hollywood's most influential and famous celebrities, many of whom publicly endorse his work, like the Kardashians. Dr. Diamond brings his artistry and expertise to the practice of facial, plastic, and reconstructive surgery. He is a discerning artist, and of course, he brings out the unique beauty in each of his patients. I know we're not seeing him just yet, and I think it's probably because he's with a patient right now, popping back and forth, trying to get it all done.
And
hey! So, funny enough, I was about to say, gosh, your hair looks really great. And Kelsey goes, hey, so Chris Appleton just did his hair. I go, shut up, I totally noticed.
It looks so good.
Yeah, it's so funny. That was a funny day because he was trying to talk me into using this keratin hair relaxer. Because I had that Brillo pad kind of hair. And I was like, Chris, I don't know. And for he kept coming in. He'd be like, you look like a mad, with his accent, you look like a madman. You got to get that poof taken out. So I finally said, fine. And I actually like it a lot.
Wifey likes it.
Yeah.
Kids like it.
Everybody, I've gotten a lot of positive comments on it. And as a matter of fact, even though we posted it yesterday, it was probably a couple weeks, it's already sort of grown out. I saw him yesterday. He's like, we need to do this again. So it's already on its last legs of effect.
It's so funny. I know it's very suave. I was like, damn, Dr. Diamond, I love his hair. And it was the thought, and we were rushing, and all of a sudden Kelsey goes, yeah, he got his hair done recently. I go, oh my God, that's so funny, because sometimes people don't notice, but this is really noticeable. I mean, it's Chris Appleton, so you better notice, right?
Yeah, I think, as the post said, I think I'm like his third client, JLo, Kim, and me. I don't belong in that threesome, but I'll take it.
Oh, that's hilarious. We have so much to get to with you. I'm so excited. First of all, let's talk about how things have changed since COVID hit. What are you seeing?
It's been really interesting because I didn't know what was going to happen. When the shutdown occurred, which occurred for us in Beverly Hills, March 20th, March 22nd, something like that. We were shut down for 6 weeks, and then we were allowed to reopen May 1st. So it was about a 6-week period. And I mean, we had a million calls during that shutdown time, like, when can I get in? So I knew there was demand, right? I knew that people wanted to come in, but I didn't know what it was going to look like. I can tell you, it's probably been the busiest 6 months of we've been open for 6 months. It's probably been the busiest 6 months of my career. I don't think I've gotten home on a Monday through Friday before 8 o'clock at night on any given Monday through Friday in 6 months. It's been extraordinarily busy. What I think has happened is because there aren't, like, in general, typically my career, my patient base over the past 10 years has been people getting ready for events, red carpets, presentations, that kind of thing. So people are always getting ready for things. It was like every month I have a slew of people coming in for this event, a slew of people coming in for that event, like weddings, awards, auditions, roles, things like that. Over the past 6 months, there hasn't been a lot of that, right? Because nothing's really going on. But where's all this demand coming from? It's more that people are now doing this for, I think, more for themselves, more than even for like an external factor. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of what we've been talking about all along. What our office philosophy has been, what my personal philosophy has been all along, is you look your best to feel your best, or feel your best to do your best. It's about you. It's about how you feel and about making yourself feel good for yourself. And I think that's what's going on. People are home. They're not doing anything. There's a lot of one external factors. There's a lot of Zoom, a lot of people seeing themselves on video, maybe more than usual. So they're seeing their face maybe more than they otherwise would. But aside from that, I think it's just people being with themselves, just wanting to feel good about themselves for the sake of making themselves feel better. Yeah. And so I think that's where all the demand is coming from right now. And it's actually, I think, even a more like organic, healthy way to boost your self-esteem for that purpose, rather than do it for somebody else or some other factor.
Yeah. Well, I wonder, do you feel like, because I would have expected that people were going longer without things, like, because now you don't have to be ready for a red carpet, so you can go longer without your Botox, you can go longer without these different treatments, and also, of course, to lessen the exposure. But that's not happening, it sounds like.
Yeah, well, a lot of it's not happening. But the thing is, a lot of the treatments that I really like, that we have pioneered a lot of, and that I really believe in and do for myself, are a lot of the bioregenerative treatments, which means the things that are allowing your body to produce its own collagen and to kind of repair itself. I incorporate those types of things into almost every patient care plan there is. So even during the shutdown, a lot of people had the benefits of those procedures still working for them. It's not all, of course I do a million Botox injections and sculpting and all those things, which I love and they're near and dear to my heart. But those things have the effect while they're in. But a lot of the treatments that I incorporate for almost everybody, like the Instafacial and the Insta-Amni, all these types of things where we're trying to reintroduce your body's own repair mechanisms, and those things work ongoing. So even though there was a shutdown and people weren't actively getting the things they needed right then, my patients who are consistent, which is a big part of my practice, is the repeat consistent people, they've had the benefit of those types of treatments working for them. And so they still felt pretty good throughout the shutdown, even though they weren't able to get their currently needed Botox or currently needed facial sculpting or whatever. They still had the other treatments working for them. So they still had a nice glow and a nice skin structure and that type of thing.
What is bioregenerative, whatever you just said?
Treatments that allow your body to repair itself. So our Instafacial involves taking your plasma and introducing fetal amniotic tissue with some fetal stem cell activity. It's allowing the body to regenerate itself. So a simple way to understand it is, if you look at like an orthopedic surgeon now, like if you hurt your elbow now, they're going to, one of the first line treatments will be to inject your body's own plasma with platelets and growth factors. It's taking your blood out, treating it, and then injecting it back in rather than injecting medications. It's one of the first line treatments now for it's because it allows your body to heal itself, which we're finding is even a better way to go than to introduce medications oftentimes. And so it's that type of thing. We're injecting these properties back into your face, into your scalp, into your skin structure, to allow the body to stimulate repair and to restore and to stimulate collagen production. So it's those types of things that a lot of people were, I find, benefiting from even when they weren't able or allowed to get other things done.
Wow. So the Instafacial, I know. What's Insta-AM?
Insta-Amni, it's Instafacial. It's still we still are doing a light laser, but we're taking your plasma, but we're introducing amniotic tissue into it as well. So it's not only your own blood, but we're introducing amniotic tissue, which has fetal stem cell properties to it as well. It makes it even more powerful for certain issues. So I like it very much for certain types of skin restoration, particularly for the necklines, particularly for the scalp, for certain things. It makes the treatments even more effective. And those treatments, again, they can produce benefits long after the treatment has been performed, right? So again, the difference between that and like facial sculpting or Botox is, with the facial sculpting and the Botox, it's effective while it's in there, but when it goes away, it's gone. With these bioregenerative treatments, the effects can be prolonged and long-term. Even after we've done the treatment, your body's working to make progress and to make improvements over time.
Wow. We talked about lasers in our last episode. We talked about the cool laser and the downtime that's required, of course, after laser surgery. Are there any new lasers that you're liking?
There's always new technologies coming out, and I stay on top of all of them. I'm always aware of what's going on, and I talk to the heads of the companies to see what they're doing. So there are some new technologies out that I really do like, and I'm using a lot of, both for skin tightening, for improving of skin texture. So yes, there are many new technologies out, and I do like many of them.
So tell us, which ones are you loving, and for what?
So one of the latest and greatest rages in cosmetic medicine over the past year has been the MSculpt. The MSculpt is a system that we can attach to multiple parts of the body, and it stimulates super maximal contractions. So doing the MSculpt, for example, to your abdomen, if a 30-minute session is the equivalent of doing 20,000 crunches. Like it gives you more contraction than you could get by working out by yourself. And Tammy wanted me to just mention, and there's no risk with COVID because we don't have anyone in there, right? It's very popular because not only does it work great, but no one has to be in there with you. So with COVID, it's very, very popular because people be in the room by themselves.
Wait, Dr. Diamond, I've always had a six-pack, even when I was 40 pounds heavier. I just have that body structure. So if I did this, would I have like a 20-pack?
Maybe a 12-pack.
I think that's hilarious.
MSculpt has been one of the biggest, it's been very popular in the cosmetic world for the past year, I'd say, maybe a little bit longer. We use it for where you can attach it to the buttocks, and then it's a 30-minute session is the equivalent of doing 10,000 squats, that kind of thing. We do it to the inner thighs, we do it to the arms, and it contracts super maximally, and it hurts a little bit, but not like a real painful hurt, like it just a sort of real deep contraction, much stronger than you could get on your own. And so that's been very, very popular. People are loving this treatment, and it's been extraordinarily effective and popular for many, many people. So that's one of the most popular treatments out there. That's sort of new.
Before you move on to the next one, I have so many questions on this one. Hold up. So are you seeing people do this for butts instead of injections now?
Well, it's different because this builds your own muscle. So people are noticing like they're getting like a butt lift out of it when they do it a full treatment to their glutes, because it's building the glute muscle, which kind of raises. So it's different than injecting something. So is the Brazilian butt lift, the fat injections to the buttocks, still a popular thing? And as you know, I'm a facial specialist. I don't do that surgery, but I'm in the world. I know what's going on in the world. I think that procedure is becoming less and less popular over the past 3 years. That procedure exploded 10 years ago and was very popular up to probably about 2 years ago. I think it's becoming less and less popular, but this is definitely becoming very popular for a similar type of effect. It's a more natural way. Of course, it's your own glute that you're trying to build, and when it builds up high, so it gives like a butt lift effect. So I think a lot of people are trying this first, before they're doing adding to the volume to their glutes.
Holy moly. Okay, stand by. So if you have, I'm talking for a friend, if your inner thighs are a little jiggly, okay, you get like the inner jiggly thigh thing, or like, like as you get older, you get like the underarm thing. Would that tone that stuff?
It definitely does. It builds. Now, oftentimes we will combine the muscle build, because the MSculpt is like a muscle building technology, but we will combine it with a skin tightening technology too, like Body FX. There are many skin tightening treatments as well. So you want to combine the muscle building with the skin tightening components. And there are many companies there are many companies. I like InMode's company, the company InMode the best. They seem to be on the forefront for years and always leading the way. So I like their technologies, but there are many. So the MSculpt will tighten muscle, will build muscle, but then the body tightening systems will kind of tighten the skin over it. So some people don't need the skin tightening component to it. Like myself, I do it on my abdomen. I don't need skin tightening. I just like to keep the six pack, keep the muscles toned. But a lot of people, when you hit jiggly, then you probably do need a little skin tightening with it.
I literally can't even believe what you're telling me right now. This is mind-blowing. I feel like I keep up on this stuff, but I did not know about this. And I feel like I stay away from body stuff a lot because I'm always like, I don't know about this stuff. Like I'll do my lasers or whatever. But once you start like messing with stuff, you don't know what the effect is, right? Like when they say if you go do lipo, it moves from one area to the other. And I'm like, I'm keeping away from all this stuff. That I might have to do. I might have to address the jiggly, weird little inner thigh thing that happened because after surgery, brain surgery, I couldn't work out for a long time and shit just kind of hit the fan. And so that just seems like such an easy solution. How many treatments does it normally take to see some kind of result?
A standard treatment would be 2 30-minute sessions a week for about 3 weeks. So Holy 2 sessions, they're only 30 minutes per each body part, but many people come in, they want to do, so if you were just doing your abdomen, let's say, you would Tuesday and a Friday, 30 minutes each, and then you do that like 3 weeks in a row. But if you're doing your abdomen and your glutes, then you might be here an hour. If you're doing your abdomen and your glutes, your inner thighs, you might be here an hour and a half, right? It just, each body part takes about 30. And many of them we can do at the same time, but some we have to do separately.
Bananas. So now back, like, I feel like maybe 2 or 3 years ago, I remember seeing Allie Landry and she did that like cool laser thing on her abdomen, whatever that thing was called. Was it a cool laser? Coolsculpting.
Coolsculpting.
So this is replacing that.
Yeah, that's a different thing. The Coolsculpting is a technology that melts fat. Now that's different. We're not melting fat with this technology. And I've seen some people who have good results with that, with Coolsculpting. I've also seen people who've had issues with it because when you're melting fat, now you introduce some unpredictable nature to it, right?
Yes.
What are some areas melt better than others? And I'd let the Coolsculpting people talk to you more about the pluses and minuses. With this, there's very, very low chance of any kind of irregularity or side effect or dent or divot because you're building your own muscle, which will build evenly, and you're tightening skin over large areas, just like a uniform tightening effect. There's very little chance of issues. So this, I don't know if this is replacing that. It's different, but this is the way that I would prefer to go.
Whoa. Okay. What is the general cost of something like this? Because someone's thinking that right now. And I know it's tough to answer because you're thinking, well, what location and blah, blah, blah. But like, if you're going to do your abdomen.
Honestly, my office always works that out. I couldn't even tell you, but it's probably, at least, I'd say at least a couple $1,000s each time you're going to do it.
Got it. Okay. Okay, good to know. Got to ask the questions people are going to want to know. That is mind-blowing. Okay, so your body, so when you've done this, you've actually seen your like abs pop?
Yeah, you actually feel it immediately. It's like, oh my God, I've never felt and I'm a workout fiend, and I used to be known for my abs. Like I used to be like the guy who did 1,000 sit-ups a day and all the leg lift ab. I mean, I had a really strong, and I still work them out, but I'm not quite what I used to be. But I've never felt ab contractions like this in all my years of being a gym rat. You feel it immediately, and yeah, it works. It works. So there was a funny, I think this was posted, so I can talk about it because this was posted. Chrissy Teigen was here, and it was a funny thing where she put on a white lab coat and played the doctor, and I was on the MSculpt, so she came in. She's like, okay, she's like, we're gonna dial this up. And it was just kind of like a little joke thing, but I had it, and there's settings on it, right? Like you can go from 0 to 100%. And I usually run at about a 30% contraction rate, which is pretty intense. So I'm laying there, and she comes in, she's like, we're gonna dial this up a little. I'm like, no, I'm good at 30. She goes, well, let's just see if we can go to 50. And I'm like, all right. So she dials it up to 50, and my head almost blew off my shoulders.
Oh my God.
She turned up to 100, and I was like, oh my, like, I mean, it's so intense. I was like, what? That's not 50. And then she showed me it was 100. I was like, get that back down.
Oh my God, Chrissy almost killed Dr. Diamond.
Almost killed me.
That's funny. Oh my.
It's contraction. If you do it consistently, if you finish the full treatment, you definitely see effects. Like,
wow.
Yeah.
So cool. Okay, so what are the other ones that you were going to mention before I stopped you for 1,000 questions on this one?
One of the other there are a lot of technologies that are time tested that are great, and we've used them for years. So I could talk for days about all the different things, but one of the new ones that I like a lot is something called Morpheus 8. It's
we saw Kim Kardashian in your office doing that.
I think she might have talked about that. I can't remember. So, but if you saw that, then we could talk about it. Yep. I don't remember what was posted, but yeah, it's a fractionated radio frequency. The latest and greatest. Fractionated radio frequency has been very popular for 10 years, but they keep getting better and better and better. Now this is the most technologically advanced one, and it's great for skin tightening, skin texture, just overall tightening and texture improvements.
So does that help with cellulite?
It can, yeah. And so, I mean, cellulite is a multiple factorial problem, but it is part of the treatment plan for sure.
Got it.
You might do other things too, but that's definitely part of the treatment plan.
Got it. I feel like there are so many other kind of trends that are happening right now, whether it's threading. What do you think? To thread or not to thread? I know you don't thread there. Last time we talked about this, unless something has changed.
Well, no, it's not. Maybe I misspoke last time. It's not that I don't thread. I've been doing the thread lifts for 20 years. I was one of the first people in LA to do it. We started doing it in 2002 before we even called it a thread lift. We called it the feather lift. There were 5 of us in LA who did it. I was one of them. And that so this is not a new technology. It's been around for a long time. So to just delve back into the history, I'll give you a 5-minute little quick history on it. So first it was a feather lift. You had to they would only sell it to a few doctors who learned how to do it. And it was like this sort of secret club. No one else could even get it. I think there were 5 of us doing the feather lift. Turns out the feather lift didn't really work very well. So we did it for a few months. We saw it didn't work, so we stopped. Then the company revamped its name. They changed a few things around, and then they changed the name to the Contour Thread Lift. And the Contour Thread Lift became huge. It became this huge because they put $1 billion into the marketing. I might be making that up, but it was a huge PR push. It was on TV commercials. It was on every single source for information. And so Contour Thread Lift in 2005 was one of the most popular treatments there was, and I did hundreds of them. Turns out they didn't work all that great. There were a lot of problems with them. They were these really strong permanent threads under the skin, and it's even with the strength of these permanent threads, you just rarely saw someone with a good result. One side would hold, the other side wouldn't. Even when both sides held, it would last for maybe 3, 4, 5 months. 1 out of 100 people would say they felt a result that lasted a year. And these were with these permanent threads. So as quick as the thread lift came, it died. it came, it shut up, and if you weren't doing it, you were missing the boat. And then all of a sudden, like 6 months later, it just fizzled out. It died because you can only get away with something that's not great for so long a period of time, despite how much you market it and how much money you put into it. Okay, fine. So it dies. You know, and I did probably more than just about anybody. And there's a backstory to that too. The company called me. They wanted me to be like the big LA guy doing it. And so I went out to dinner with the president of the company, and I got some inside information on the company, and they wanted me to kind of teach it here in LA to all these doctors. So whatever. So I knew a lot about this thing, and they were giving me all these threads. So I did a lot. Let's just say I did a lot of them. I got a big experience with it. They weren't that great. Okay. So it just fizzles away and it dies. That was like 2006, 2007 maybe. Then in like 2011, you hear, you know, some company kind of rebranded it, and you kind of hear they're back for, you know, 8 minutes, and then it dies. And then in 2016, some other popular doctor starts talking about it, and you hear about it for 8 minutes, and then it dies, right? Okay, now they're back again. Now, I don't know, again, it's kind of rebranded. Now the difference is now they're dissolvable. They're not permanent, they're dissolvable, okay. So that's pretty important, because being dissolvable, some of the problems that we saw with the permanent ones, you didn't really have to worry about anymore, because with the permanent ones, when there was a problem, we had to go in and dig them out. And that could be really difficult to do. It would require surgery sometimes to go in and dig those things out. And it can be very problematic. Now that they're dissolvable, they disappear. So even if there's a problem, it's going to go away on its own. It's going to disappear. So that's the good side. The downside is we were dealing with these super strong permanent threads. I mean, you could put one of those permanent ones in, you put it in, you could literally pull it and lift the person off the table. They were so strong. Even with that strength, you were lucky to get a 3-4 month result. Now with these dissolvable ones, which are not even close to as strong as the permanent ones, you have much less strength, much less power, much less effect. So the reality is the longevity you get out of the results with these dissolvable ones is even less than the longevity that we got out of these really super strong permanent ones. So the point is, it's not a very long-lasting procedure. You can get a really good lift for a short period of time. And when I say short period of time, I've seen people who got a lift for 2 weeks and then it disappeared.
And it hurts like hell, I heard too.
I mean, well, the thing is, you can have as long a downtime with a full face thread lift as you can with a facelift. I mean, the downtime can be the same, meaning with pain and bruising and discomfort and those types of things. So if you needed like one little trouble area and you needed a quick little improvement to get ready for something, yeah, you could probably get a reasonable little improvement with a thread, but to expect it's going to last a year, that is it's just not true. I've seen the advertisements on the back of buses. I've seen the med spas advertised. I've seen the dentist advertise who do whatever, 2 year. It's just not true. They do not last 2 years. You're lucky if you get a few months out of them. There are little tricks and variations you can use to like improve certain problems, but it's just important people understand this is not a significant long-term improvement. It's a very short-lived kind of thing. So I do them. I did probably 5 of them this month for people who understand that, but just want to get a quick little tightening to a certain area. So we do them. But it's just not a significant improvement for any long-term period of time. And that's just what people need to know. If they understand that and want to go do it, great. But don't go into it thinking you're getting a 2-year result. You are not.
Yeah. What about, we've talked about Botox on the last episode, and you talked about the safety of Botox because you had said, I think it was like a protein and they use such little of it. I feel like I'm still educating people on Botox for migraines. So can you talk a little bit about that? Do you do it for migraines for people there?
I do. I do it in my own head for migraines, as a matter of fact. Once every couple of years, I get a nasty migraine that will last for 3 months if I do anything. So I do Botox on myself for it. Botox for migraines definitely can be a very effective treatment. It has now been FDA approved for it. As a matter of fact, one of my good friends and mentors created the treatment. So I know inside details on how he created it and how to do it. And so It definitely can be an effective part of migraine treatment. How does it work? We don't know. We're not quite sure how or why it works. It may minimize the release of this thing called substance P. It may inhibit the release of certain little chemicals that come out that can stimulate the vasoactive action of the blood vessels, which is what causes migraine. The blood vessels kind of opening and closing and that type of thing. So we're not really sure exactly how it works, but it works. And so you have to determine where the migraine is, where it's coming from, to determine how much you're going to put and where. But we'll even inject like the shoulders, the back of the neck, the scalp, the temples. But it can be very effective. I mean, it's not a guarantee, but it can be quite a good answer for people who suffer with them.
Yeah, I know it changed a friend of mine's life when I forced her to do it. I'm like, try it. You have nothing to lose. But people are scared, and when this is like really foreign stuff, they get nervous. I also read that it was good for trigeminal neuralgia, which was shocking to me.
Yes, it can help with any kind of neuropathic pain. It sort of can be like this miracle treatment when there's nothing else really can be. Sometimes when other things aren't necessarily that effective, it can be like a miracle cure. It really can be. So it's definitely worth a try for people who are struggling and other things aren't working. The downside, it can be very expensive to do. I think some people will have their insurance be able to pay for it, but we don't take it. I don't take insurance for it, but I do it for friends and I do it for certain patients. Yeah. But other than the cost, I mean, it's totally safe and it can be very effective.
Yeah. Well, I think of, the medicines that you would have to take for a trigeminal neuralgia and the effects that could have on you, where a Botox isn't going to have any of those effects. It's such a better option.
For sure. It'd be the first thing I try on myself. It'd be the very first thing I did.
Yeah. Okay. We have so much more to get to. What are the trends you're seeing in kind of we can do both, surgical and non-surgical world?
Well, similar to what we just talked about, some of the trends that you hear a lot of people talk about is the lateral brow lift. You see a lot of younger people asking about and so I think that's been a pretty popular trend over the past probably, 3 years or so, people asking for this little lateral brow lift. That's a trend that I think young people are asking for. Now,
is that non-surgical or surgical?
It can be either. You can do it non-surgically and you can do it surgically. Some people will respond really effectively non-surgically. Some people will require a little surgical procedure to get that. The reality is it's a procedure we've been doing for a long, long time. It's only with the boom of social media and that type of thing, people are just talking about it more and inquiring about it more. But it is something we've done for a long time. But I'd say that's a trend that I'm seeing a lot of. I'm seeing, always, people wanting to improve their skin texture and tone. So that's probably becoming more popular with all the mask wearing. People are noticing a lot of, breakouts and rashes and irregularities to their skin. So I'm seeing a big trend for like, hey, my skin looks like crap because of this mask. So I'm seeing a lot of that. Those are two pretty popular things I'm seeing right now.
Yeah. The skin thing, do you feel like I feel like I'm seeing people come in and everybody wants to like clear their skin and have flawless skin. I've always kind of shied away from even attempting most of the laser situations because I know I'm going to be in my convertible and there's never going to be enough sunscreen to protect what I just fixed. So I kind of am lame about it, but I feel like that is something that a lot of people are really interested in. Are you seeing that?
People asking to improve their skin?
Yeah, to like really be able to not have a lot on their face and
Yes.
Although there's a duality because there's the heavy makeup look, right? Everyone now is like into makeup because you've got Kim and Kylie selling, all this makeup and they want to look like them. But then at the same time, I think there was about to be a moment where no makeup was going to make a comeback. And then it didn't really happen. But I think people still want to be able to have that flawless skin.
Oh, for sure. I see people ask about it every day. I hear a lot of people saying they're working at home. They're not wearing as much makeup. They need their skin to look good, sans makeup. So yes, I hear that a lot.
Yeah.
But the reality is these treatments would be the same. Whether you're wearing makeup or not, you're still trying to improve the skin to the best that we can improve it. If it looks better without makeup, it's going to look better with makeup too.
Yeah. We have Kelsey here,
hi.
who we shared some photos with you before the show. And since we're talking about skin, one of the questions I had, and it might be a tough one, I don't know, is it easy when you look at a patient to determine the cause of the acne to figure out the proper treatment? Like she was telling me the other day, her skin's breaking out and she was going to go get a facial. And I go, oh gosh, that sounds like just you're going to irritate something that's already irritated. That doesn't feel like a good idea. I said, maybe if you're going to go down to the beach, get some salt water on there to like dry it up a little. What would you say?
That's actually not a bad idea. Salt water can be effective, and even quick bursts of sunlight can be effective too, to dry up, overall just like skin that's got a high oil content to it, or that type of thing, which can cause breakouts. Dealing with acne it's a huge discipline in and of itself, figuring out where it's coming from, what the causes are. There are many different forms of acne. Sometimes people have what we call, a very common thing is people have what's called perioral dermatitis, which looks for all the world like acne, but it's not acne. It's more like a rash kind of thing that can last somebody a lifetime. It can be a persistent problem, but it affects around the mouth and up into the cheeks. So
that's what we think she has.
There's no simple answer to look and say, this is it. I mean, it requires a long discussion with that person. It requires understanding the products they're using. Are they using purging related products like retinols? Are they trying new products? Are they in a hormonal imbalance kind of thing? Have they been exposed to new detergent on the, there's so many different things. I wish I could give you a quick little answer, but I can't.
Yeah.
I just look at her and say, oh, this is what it is.
Come on, Dr. Diamond. No, just kidding.
Yeah, no, I think, and having been with her the last few months, I think hers is like, right now it's purging because she's on a gut healing treatment.
Yeah.
So all the things they're giving her, I feel like everything's purging out. And and that's why I was like, keep it simple. Salt water, just wash your face, simple. Try not to wear anything at night, right?
And again, whatever issue you're dealing with, the masks make it worse. Yeah. I mean, try to be, by yourself more so you don't have to wear that stupid thing,
Yeah. The other thing I wanted to ask you about was there's a lot of like face gyms that have like opened up. Do you buy into the face gym, like, or the jazzercise stuff and trying to build the muscles in your face?
The face is not weight-bearing musculature. It's not designed it doesn't bear weight. It doesn't respond to stress the way your glutes do, the way your thighs do, the way your arms do. It's not meant for that. So you can do all the exercise you want. I have people come in all the time, Doc, I'm doing this. Is this helping? I'm like, yeah, it's making me laugh. It's helping make me laugh. That's about all it's doing. So I understand face gym is a facial manipulation to create some kind of contour. And I don't doubt that people might be seeing something that they like. However, as I just explained, the facial muscles are not weight-bearing muscles. And so there's no exercises or treatments that are going to create any kind of significant longer-term improvement. And the things that we focus on here are focused, really laser focused on things that will last, things that will give a significant improvement. So that would be the big difference, I would think. And the things that I spend my time on are based around the things that I've developed, treatments for the face that create long-term significant improvements. So those are the things that I find, and my patients and the people who are involved with our practice find very important.
We're going to run through a few pictures with you because every time I see pictures, I'm always like, how? How does this get achieved? And I know other people are asking the same question. So Jeff is going to run through some pictures. JLo. Here's my question on JLo. How does someone who wants to look like JLo at 50-something maintain and still look like themselves?
That would be a very personal approach to that individual. Every person's unique, depending on their aging pattern, their facial structure, their skin type. It's a different answer for everybody. Some people may require little minor, minimally invasive surgical procedures. Some people may require more aggressive surgical procedures. Some people may be able to do it with some of the, facial sculpting, Botox, Instafacials. Like, There's a whole gamut. I couldn't give you one answer. It depends on each individual person. That's what makes this so hard to, give people something to hang their hat on in this regard, because it would be like saying, well, how do we keep your body like this? Well, some people don't have to do anything. Their body stays like that. Some people require surgery. Some people can do it with workout. The face is the same. It depends on that person's genetics, that person's anatomy. And so I couldn't give you one straight answer on that.
That's so true. Okay, next picture. Here's another example. I don't know who this is, but I saw this on Instagram. And you can see that the eyebrows are totally different, but she's young. So what would you say could be done? We don't have to assume what she did specifically, but what could be done to achieve this result?
So you could probably get that result with a little non-surgical brow lift, which involves a little Botox, little filler, just in a strategic way to make the muscles work so they raise the tail of the brow, and a little filler to enhance the lateral component, even some filler up into the scalp to kind of pull in certain vectors. You can oftentimes get this type of result on a young person that way. Sometimes people will ask for that little thread lift procedure, which can give this result for a month, a couple weeks to a month, not longer than that, but you can get probably a good month out of it for this type of result. And sometimes people will want this permanently, and there's little, very small surgical procedures that can give this type of effect too. So there's multiple ways to get that effect to the brow. For her lip, for that result, it looks like she could have had a lip lift, which is a little incision underneath the nose where we cut away a strip of skin and we shorten the distance and roll the red lip up. It'd be unlikely you could get that much augmentation of the lip with just filler. That's a huge change to that lip. And so very possibly could have been a little lip lift procedure.
Wow. I would have never thought of that. How do you make sure, symmetry is so important, right? How do you make sure that both eyebrows are exactly where they need to be?
Well, that's if you're doing that, that's the experience, that's the skill. I mean, that's knowing how to do what you're trying to do and knowing exactly what the procedure you're going to do is going to give. I mean, it just comes with experience and doing thousands of them. And, so it just comes, it's not easy, but that's part of the deal. The doctor or your provider needs to know exactly what they're doing.
Wow. Okay. Next picture, Jeff. This is Kara. Kara, it was in your office and she did this. I forget what was the laser called.
Let's see. I can look.
Do you remember, Dr.
I think it was Diamond, your facial
really
sculpting.
No. Hold on. Jeff, help us out here.
I'm seeing for my second IPL treatment.
IPL treatment.
Oh, IPL. Yeah. Okay. So what's really hard is her final picture. She has makeup on, so I couldn't tell. So I was like, we need to find a picture of her after, and I'm going to email her and find out. But what is IPL?
IPL is intense photolight, otherwise known as photofacial. It's one of the minimally invasive lasers. It's not technically a laser, but for the discussions in lay terms, we'll call it a laser. It's an intense light so it functions like a laser. And it's really great for brown spots, red spots, pore shrinkage, that kind of thing. And there's no downtime with it. Very popular treatment for sun damage and that kind of thing. So it's usually a very important part of the puzzle in my office for improving somebody's skin. But that's what IPL is.
Is it one of those sharp needle things that does it? Because I've seen those, and if someone has a lot of brown spots, I feel like I have a lot of brown spots, it would probably take a long time, right?
It is different than the one with the sharp needles.
Okay.
It's different. Oftentimes we'll do those types of things together or in combination, or do one and then 2 weeks later do another one, but it's different. It's different than that.
Got it. Okay, next picture, Jeff. I think we got maybe one more. Oh, this was Kim doing the Morpheus.
Okay.
Yeah. So
talked about, yeah.
Yeah. Which we already talked about. I think that's all the pictures, right, Jeff?
That's it.
Yeah.
Let me see. I feel like, we covered a lot of stuff. Was there anything that I missed, you guys, that you were really
You nailed it.
Well, obviously.
I just want to know how to cure my dermatitis now.
Yeah.
I think that's it. Honestly, I used to get it around my mouth and doctors would tell me that, but I didn't know it could go up to your cheeks. So
For sure.
I think you nailed that.
For sure it can. It's called perioral dermatitis because it typically is around the mouth, but it can be very misleading because it can go up to the cheeks. It can essentially go anywhere.
Wow.
Even though most commonly we see it right around here.
Do you have a favorite skin product that you like for people who are dealing with acne issues?
I mean, there's a whole, again, it's so individual. Yeah. There's a million different things we recommend depending on that person's, and I wish I can give you one answer.
The only question I would have before we get out of here, Dr. Diamond, I know you got to go soon, but for our listener, like if you had 1 minute to just give someone like the basic lifestyle choices and options they should be participating in to keep their face as fresh and youthful as they can, what do you recommend to our listeners?
Well, I mean, there's many things. If you were going to do one simple thing, it would be to wear good sunscreen, good skincare, a good product regimen with good cleansing, good sun protection, good moisturization. That'd probably be, the simplest, safest, most effective, most preventative measure.
Okay.
Yeah.
I love it. Dr. Diamond, thank you. This is amazing. I learned so much.
Me too.
Oh my God, we can never tell Kevin about that
MSculpt.
MSculpt shit. He's going to be like, bring me in. I want a 12-pack.
Truly.
Abs have always been his kind of toughest thing. He's got like this like little pouch of like, pizza layer around. And so he's gotten all the ab machines and all of that.
Well, he got me hooked up with this amazing movie theater, so I owe him. So yeah.
Oh my gosh. Operation Get Kev a 6-pack.
No, we are not telling him. I'm getting my jiggly thighs fixed. Yeah. He doesn't get his ass. Oh my God, this is so funny. But you know what? This is so much fun because it is always nice to kind of understand all of the things that we're seeing and how things are achieved and what's possible, right? I think we're always trying to better ourselves. And as we said at the beginning of the show, right? No one is in control of your happiness but you. Therefore, you have the power to change anything about yourself or your life that you want to change. So no judgments on people who decide to do things that are going to make them feel better about themselves. I always bring up the example of my dad. I had no idea. I don't know if I ever told you this. I had no idea how much my dad was affected by having those big puffy under eyes. He used to wear glasses and he didn't even need glasses. And when I found out, I remember I was working at Entertainment Tonight at the time, and I was like, well, let's get them removed. I knew nothing about surgeries or any surgical, non-surgical. I was completely, not in the know. But we found somebody, they removed him, and he was so happy, and it gave him so much confidence. And so if there's something that's bothering you, and you can fix it, go for it. That's
totally.
it.
The analogy I give everybody, it's kind of like I always say, like pre-COVID, let's talk about before COVID. At any given time, there are probably 1 billion people across the planet in a gym. Like even daytime here, it's nighttime here, it's daytime. At any one moment, there are 1 billion people in a gym trying to get an 8-pack, trying to get their glutes in shape, trying to get whatever. Well, that's because when people's confidence, when people look their best, they feel their best, their confidence up, and then they can go do their best. That's, like I said, that's our philosophy. Well, with the face and with certain things, you can't exercise that away. So if you could, then great, but you can't. So what's the difference between somebody self-conscious about their abdomen or about their butt? What's the difference between someone self-conscious about that, putting in the hours in the gym, versus someone who's got a bump on their nose that makes them self-conscious and it's affecting them? What's the difference between them going to see someone to address that versus, right? To me, it's the same thing. It's just, so if you have an issue that you're self-conscious about and improving that is going to give you confidence to go be your best, where's the shame in that?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you as always. And
my pleasure. It was great to see you.
Have an amazing day. We'll see you soon. And that was awesome.
So fun.
All right, we'll see you soon.
Bye.
Thank you.
If you guys want to know more about Dr. Diamond, you can find him at JasonBDiamond.com. Many of his most up-to-date techniques and endorsements can be found on his Instagram at Dr. Jason Diamond. I mean, he just kind of blew my mind away.
Know, me too.
With the MSculpt stuff. Holy moly, had no idea. But of course, Kim is in the know because she was the first. Well, she was doing the Morpheus. I think that was a little different.
Yes.
But
still,
it's all that M stuff.
It's all the same.
It's all the M stuff.
It's all the stuff.
As we have said before, guys, if you could help us out, share this episode with people you know that would love it, or any episode that you love. We really need your support and your help in getting this to more people who will be helped by it or enjoy it. Also, if you can rate or comment, review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, we would greatly appreciate it. New episodes drop every Monday through Thursday. Of course, we have our Monday Fun Days that are live at 9 a.m. Pacific, 12 p.m. Eastern time. But our Tuesday through Thursday shows are going to be dropping early, 5 a.m. Eastern, so you can get up and get ready with us.
Yes.
And you can have access to them all day and every day, whenever you want. We covered tons of topics in our first conversation. So if you enjoyed today's episode, check out our last conversation with Dr. Diamond. It's episode number 3.
That's
Holy moly, we're on like 169 or something now, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So he was episode number 3. And make sure you're locked into our Apple Podcast feed for next week, as we are going to be delivering our specially catered and curated shows to get you through election week. We don't know what the heck is going to happen, but we know it's going to be interesting. That is for sure.
So make sure you're looking after yourself, getting your self-care in.
Meditate that week. If you've never meditated before, meditate that week and take care of you, and maybe don't turn on the news.
Yeah.
And maybe don't engage in political discussions with people. Let's just like namaste inside of our own selves. Go to the polls, cast your vote, or send in your ballot, whatever it is, and let's just allow God and the universe to do whatever is supposed to happen. I mean, that's all we can say, right? There's a purpose to everything that happens, I think, in life, and sometimes whether we like it or not, I don't know. We've been in that situation before, so.
Amen, sister.
Yeah. It'll be interesting.
I'm frightened, Donnie M. I'm frightened.
I know. I don't want to beat a dead horse, but I will tell you, like, as a producer, I'm so excited about next week, what we're airing. We spent a lot of time selecting these shows, so trust me, that's going to be what's going to get you through next week. So when you're feeling down, Judith Orloff, talk about the power of empathy. It's just going to be incredible. So make sure you're subscribed to that feed. We will have you covered even if times are tough next week.
And let us know in the reviews who you're loving. Let us know.
Please do.
We're excited for you.
In the meantime, follow us at Better Together with Maria. Of course, our guest at Dr. Jason Diamond, at Jeffrey Crane Graham, at Kelsmeyer 2. And remember, be nice people, make good choices, and be present.